listening to the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
Five, six, seven, eight. Holla boys and girls, it's the BGN. Coming from the Marvel world to the DC friends. All the way from Hollywood to the PCN. She defends everyone from sleazy men. Won't apologize for spitting Shonda rhymes. The space that we make is never colonized. Talking games and movies and actors. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Yeah, better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Ha. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Black Girl Nerds podcast. My name is Jamie and I am your host. We are pleased to present to you actor Aunjanue Ellis Taylor. She is known for her work in several film and TV productions. She's received several awards, including nominations for an Academy Award, for King Richard, a Golden Globe Award, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, and 3 Screen Actors Guild Awards. She's currently starring in the film 𝒜𝓁𝓁, which is based on the best-selling book by 𝒜𝓁𝓁 𝓂𝓁𝓁 called Caste. 𝒜𝓁𝓁 is currently playing in selected theaters and expands into more theaters on January 19th. She also has a film that is coming up soon over at Sundance called Exhibiting Forgiveness. So, if you are excited for what she has coming up, and if you're looking forward to seeing 𝒜𝓁𝓁 coming up, well, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Black Girl Nerds podcast featuring actor Aunjanue Ellis Taylor. Aunjanue, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to Black Girl Nerds. I really appreciate you speaking with us about your incredible and powerful performance in this beautiful film, 𝒜𝓁𝓁, which took my breath away when I watched it. 𝒜𝓁𝓁 is by far my favorite film of the year. And in large part, it is because of your nuanced and breathtaking performance playing the notable author Isabel Wilkerson. And just watching the experiences Isabel went through was very taxing for me as a viewer. So for you playing this role, did it have any impact on you emotionally or even physically while you were portraying her?
Well, I have to say that, I don't know, I guess this probably will sound, a little counterintuitive, but I get exhilarated by, first of all, having the opportunity, the chance to at least pretend that I'm living this woman, and her incredible brain. So, I don't feel taxed by that. I feel exhilarated by that. I think, there were certainly moments, where I had to say to Ava, our wonderful director, I had to say, okay, you got to stop here, And it really was because not so much. I mean, some of it was that, there were times when I had to go there so much that I had to dig into my personal reservoirs of stuff that hurts. And that kind of was, that can get to you after a certain point. But also, I wanted to make sure that I was staying within the parameters of the character and the story. So I didn't want to be indulgent because I could cry all day. You know what I mean? When I'm thinking about some of the sadnesses and losses that I've had, I could cry. I just wanted to make sure that I was the well of emotion that I had was consistent with the job that I had to do,
Yeah. Absolutely. I've never read the book Caste, nor did I know much about Isabel's story before experiencing this film. And I use experience because I walked away learning so much more about the dynamics of race and people's attitudes about others when it comes to prejudice. it really felt like I was taking a master class watching this film. What did you learn during your time working on Origin?
Yeah, well, first of all, I learned a new language, you know, um, you trying to coming to the point where you sort of think you know it all about race, not know it all, but there are certain things that you assume. And I think we are all at that point in our conversations about, social divisions in this country and around the world, that it has come to the point that it is almost an abstraction. We become so lazy that race is no longer has any blood in it. It's an abstraction. It's an idea rather than something that is alive, anymore. It can be, people can counter it with, counter racism, you know what I mean? And so I think that what Isabel Wilkerson offers is she offers this, new language. I mean, it's old language, but it's new for us. We understand it and how it articulates in, South Asian culture with in India particularly. But we never considered it in how it is alive in this culture. And that race is just a tool of caste, that it could have been anything. The people who wanted to maintain power in the higher caste, they just could have chosen anything. They could have chosen height. They could have chosen ear size, but they chose race. And what's important about that is that you don't have to be a member of the higher caste, the dominant caste. You don't have to be white. You can be Black, and and being employed essentially to maintain the higher caste. And what I mean by that is what is at play when you see Black police officers beating the crap out of Black people, is that they are acting in service of maintaining that higher caste.
Right. Oh, wow. That's such that is a prime example of, being able to visualize what that means. Because sometimes people don't really know, like when you say caste, what does that mean? Visually, I don't understand how caste exactly works. So yeah, that is a perfect example of how to visualize what caste looks like. And this movie does sit with you. I'm certain that, right now it's currently playing in select theaters and it's going to release nationwide next month. But I'm certain that there's going to be a lot of profound and deep conversations that's going to come out after people see this film. Based on your experience of promoting this film and attending press events, what are some of the conversations that you have experienced or heard since its release?
Yeah, well, I think because I'm still in the mode of, I don't want to know, don't tell me, don't tell, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear no reviews, you know what I mean? I'm still in that place. Just because I feel very vulnerable still about it. We just finished filming this film in last March, and it's coming out in it's out, in some cities. So I'm still too close to it to be objective about it at all. So I think a lot of that conversation I'm not privy to because I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. But I hope you are right. I really hope you're right that that the ideas in this film, can be looked at as incendiary. People can run from it because they don't want to deal with the ideas in it. They've decided, they presume something about it before they even see it. But what I hope will happen is that it punctures through that resistance, and it does, ignite, conversations, not just in this country, but around the world,
Yeah, absolutely. I certainly hope it does as well. Who would would you say, it unites countries all over the world? Who would you say this movie is for? Because it's very deep, it's very textured in its discussion on race and the caste system, and some of its subject matter could go over people's heads.
Yeah, I think it's for everybody. And there's this incredible thinker, writer, author. His name is 𝒜𝓁𝓁. Are you familiar with him?
I'm not, no.
Yeah, he wrote this book called Open City that I have, but I have not read. But I heard him talking about a poem that he read, and that the ideas of the poem could, as you said about origin, could, kind of go over people's heads or be confusing, that kind of thing. And so he said that that the naming of a contradiction is the beginning of an ethic. And I was like, yes, that's what this movie is. That's what Caste is. Isabel Wilkerson, Miss Wilkerson, does not offer answers in the book. She offers the naming of what the problem is.
Right.
The film offers us an opportunity to name it. It gives Ava DuVernay another opportunity at reaching folks who don't spend an afternoon in Barnes and Noble like I do and get glasses, it democratizes it and puts people who don't read books to sit in the theater, eat popcorn, and have these ideas funneled through. And part of that work, the work of that, is just the naming of it. It's just the naming of it. And then what happens after that is up to us. But if we can leave ourselves open to that naming, that discussion of it, then hopefully we can enact something that we can come out on the other side of.
Right. Yeah. Why is there a Black police officer standing idly by while, George Floyd is essentially being murdered on the street? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because he is acting on the behalf of the dominant caste, which in this country is, white Americans.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Your relationship and scenes with Niecy Nash Betts as Marion just gutted me completely. I was in awe of both of you on screen. Did the two of you spend a significant time with each other off screen to help foster and cultivate the relationship that you had on screen?
Well, I have worked with Niecy before on When They See Us, the first time that I worked with Ava. But we were not, we weren't friends on that film. We were enemies. But what was, the way to convey someone enmity on screen is to have a great support system with the other actor, and that's what Niecy provided and gives and gave in this. She's just one of these actors who, she doesn't open her mouth on screen unless she believes what she's saying. And so my intention when someone says action is to do the same thing, is to believe what I'm saying. So what you hopefully see is just, Niecy and I talking, but we just have different names on screen,
Wow. It was palpable. I absolutely loved the two of you guys on screen. What was your experience like working with Isabel, and how much of her time and presence was involved in the production of this film?
Well, I didn't meet Miss Wilkerson. I haven't met her. By the time I became a part of the production, she and Ava had sort of, developed this kind of work relationship where Ms. Wilkerson had, essentially said, this is yours now as a film anyway, and you take it. And so when I came in, that practice was already in place, and I just respected that. So I haven't met her yet.
There's moments when I saw this film where I had to turn my head because it was just really hard to watch. Did you
Mhm.
experience during filming where you just had to take a moment and just pause because the emotional weight of it all was just a little too much?
Yeah, I think, well, there's a moment in the film where I hear Trayvon, the tape of Trayvon Martin's murder,
Yeah.
and I had never heard that before.
Mm.
So when you see me hear that on screen is the first time I've ever heard it. So yeah, that was a lot. I can't be eloquent and describe that. That was overwhelming. That was
Oh,
overwhelming.
wow. You're in another film that's coming out this month that's getting a lot of buzz, and that's The Color Purple.
Oh, I was like, what?
You're like, huh? What other movie?
Because I'm only in that movie all of 10 seconds. I'm not in that film that much. So I'm always
but
like, people say that, I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
But you have a very important role in that film. It's very significant presence, and I had the pleasure of speaking with Felicia, who plays a young Celie, who you were in that
Mm.
scene with. You play her mother. What was that experience like working on that project?
Well, so it's so in and out, but just lovely. You know what I mean? Lovely. I mean, the color purple is just one of those like formative cultural moments of my childhood, you know, of my adolescence, of my adulthood, you know. The language of that film, you know, we just need to do this and we know what that means, right?
Right.
So, um, so just to be a part of that, it's just I can't even. When it became a possibility, you know, I just couldn't believe it. I just wish I could sing, girl. If I could sing, listen, I would have been fighting people trying to be up in that. It was lovely, and I had a great time working with Felicia. I had a really lovely time working with her. I hope she felt the same. I had a lovely time with her.
Absolutely. I loved your scenes together with her. So it's great to just see you in two really remarkable films this year. We've seen you perform in hard hitting dramas, again, just two this month with Origin in The Color Purple, as well as your Oscar nominated role in King Richard. You have a knack for doing comedy way back in the day with Undercover Brother, which I loved. Do you have a genre preference when it comes to your career with films? Do you like comedy? Do you like drama? What do you prefer when you're choosing a role? Or do
Yeah,
you not
well,
have a preference?
no, I have a preference of having a healthy bank account.
I know that's right.
um, and I want to do work that fulfills me. I love working with, you know, incredible. I love working with radical, incredible directors. You know, people like Ava. I'm doing a film with this with a director who's more known as a visual artist, Titus Kaphar, who directed this film called Exhibiting Forgiveness. That's going to be in Sundance in a few weeks. I love doing that kind of work. And really, you know, what I want to do is I feel like books, I feel like films like Origin do the work that is at this moment uh, being upended in classrooms. You know, there's a move to redact us from history, and so I want to work on material that stands in opposition to that, that fights against that. You know, and if it happens to be funny, you know, cool. You know, I love it when dramatic actors, you know, find, you know, these moments that are funny. And I think they're funny because we see ourselves in them, right? You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My last question to you is what are you most proud of so far in your career?
Ooh, what am I most proud of? I don't know how to answer that without sounding.
Being
Oh,
nominated for an Academy Award?
no, I mean, that's great. That's wonderful. But I have to say this though, listen, I worked a long time without being nominated for anything. And
Mm,
nobody paid attention to anything that I was doing. And that could happen, that could happen again, like I don't get nominated again, but I have to believe in the necessity of my work without nominations, without any of that. I still have to believe that my work matters to somebody. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like your reaction to Origin, um, makes me feel like our work was not, it mattered, that our work mattered. Whether we get
Mm,
nominated or not, it meant something. It meant something to you, and that has incredible value to me.
mm,
What I'm able to do off screen with the money that I make on screen has been something that I'm incredible and very, very proud of, being able to buy my sister a house, being able to make sure that my folks have cars to drive around and go to work in. That has value to me. I'm able to do social justice work in Florida. My name is on a billboard in Florida right now where I say, my name is Aunjanue Ellis and I had an abortion. I put that
mm,
billboard up in Tallahassee because I'm hoping Ron DeSantis drives right by it. That kind of
mm.
work, that makes me feel good. You know, that makes me
Love to
feel good.
see it. I love to see it. And this film made me feel good about just everything that I learned about what caste is, what race means, and just, prejudice and all of those things. Like I said, it felt like a master class, and your performance was just so beautiful. I really hope more people see it. I really hope that there's more conversations and discussions around it. I look forward to its release on January 19th, so that way, everyone across the nation gets an opportunity to see it. Thank you, Aunjanue, so much for taking the time to talk to Black Girl Nerds. And I'll be going to Sundance, so I hope I get a chance to see your film Exhibiting Forgiveness over at Sundance and get a chance to see you there in Park City. So thank you.
I hope so too. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you for wanting to talk to us. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Take care. Bye.